All right. So what I want to talk about today is how hypothyroidism can actually affect our gut. So if you've been diagnosed with hypothyroidism, you should know how the thyroid function can actually impact your intestines, your gut. And this is why it's important to properly manage those underlying mechanisms for your hypothyroidism. So there's a very intimate relationship between our gastrointestinal tract and our thyroid, and they affect each other. It's a two-way street. The health of the stomach, our gut microbe, our pancreas, our liver, our gallbladder, and large intestines are all interrelated with thyroid function. The most common cause of hypothyroidism today is an autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's, which attacks and destroys the thyroid tissues if it's left unmanaged. This is important because the inflammation and autoimmune mechanism associated with Hashimoto's can cause thyroid receptor site resistance and a low thyroid function. So there are 7 ways that your gut is affected by your hypothyroidism, or your hypothyroidism affects your gut. Number 1 is intestinal mobility. Intestinal mobility, the intestinal contractions move the food through the gut. It is vital to the gut health, and it relies on the thyroid hormone to function as it should. Many patients with unmanaged hypothyroidism, they struggle with chronic constipation. As a matter of fact, that's a number 1 thing that we look for, and then they depend on things like magnesium supplements, laxative, or enemas for regular bowel movement. There are muscles in the gut, we call them the split muscles of the GI, and they must contract and so that they could move that food through, and this movement is called transit time. The transit time is critical because as soon as you swallow food, it must start moving right away. If you have a low thyroid activity, it slows this process down. The results are bacterial overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, fermentation of the gut content, and disruption of the gut microbe, even if you eat a healthy diet. Number 2 is your gallbladder function. A low functioning thyroid can cause gallbladder issues, as thyroid hormone significantly impacts gallbladder contraction. When you eat fatty foods, your gallbladder contracts, it releases the bile into our intestinal tract to emulsify the fats, but low thyroid prevents that sufficient contraction. As a result, the stored bile begins to thicken and creates bile sludge, a precursor for gallstones. If you experience bloating, if you have distension, indigestion, or nausea after you eat fatty foods, or if you cannot take fish oils because they cause burping and other intestinal issues, you might want to look into the health of your gallbladder. Number 3 is leaky gut. A healthy gut requires integrity of intestinal tight junctions in the gut wall. So our intestinal cells are linked together like this, and this prevents intestinal permeability, otherwise known as a leaky gut. Gut inflammation and damage lead to leaky gut, which in turn causes this system to be like this, so that undigested food can go through. Leaky gut also raises the risk of conditions called endotoxemia, in which the end products from our gram-negative bacteria make it into our bloodstream, and they can cause systemic inflammation. These byproducts also bind to immune cells in the thyroid gland, and they can cause thyroid inflammation. Number 4 is oral tolerance. A good oral tolerance means that the immune system is not overreacting to foods that you eat and causing sensitivities and inflammation. Dendritic cells in the gut, so these are kind of cells that are immune cells in our gut, they sample the food that comes in and tell the immune system to either react or not react at all. When people are low in their thyroid state, these dendritic cells tend to overreact to foods, and they can cause inflammatory reaction. A good thyroid function helps to prevent immune cells in our GI tract from becoming overly sensitive. Number 5 is blood flow to the gut. Healthy circulation delivers nutrients, growth factors, hormones to the GI tract, keeping the gut functioning and making tissue regeneration possible. It is important that your gut tissue is regenerating faster than inflammation is causing degeneration. So blood flow is a key factor in regeneration and dampening inflammation. So when blood flow suffers due to poor thyroid activity, gut health does too. Number 6 is gut metabolic activity. Another area that's influenced by our thyroid hormone is the body's metabolism. Metabolic activity supports intestinal mobility, and the cells in the GI tract really depend on that good metabolic activity to function and regenerate. And number 7, last but not least, is gut microbe. Studies show that gut microbe in Hashimoto's patients are completely different from those without the disease. This becomes a vicious cycle in which the unhealthy gut microbe promotes autoimmune disease and poor gut function as a result of thyroid hormone deficiency, which promotes an unhealthy gut microbe. So, a poor gut microbe health also promotes the loss of oral tolerance and the development of multiple food sensitivities and autoimmune conditions. Additionally, healthy gut bacteria converts the inactive T4 thyroid to an active T3 thyroid. So your gut glands produces 90% of its hormone in the form of T4, which must be converted to T3. So poor microbe diversity and health make it difficult to produce sufficient T3 to fuel the body's cells. I hope that this helped you, and I hope that I get to see you at our thyroid workshop coming up July 12th from 6:15 to 8 p.m. All you need to do is to hop onto our website at harmonywellness-frisco.com, go to the events page and sign and get those tickets, or you can call the office at 945-888-2988 to get those tickets. God bless. Remember who you are.